So I was Michelangelo, the artistic flow coming from STL. The legendary shows, I knew I'd be a star, but little did I know it wouldn't be from bars. See, that's the big league, the radar online. I wasn't the undefeated, but I still was gon' shine. I took a few L's, took them shots like Pop, but then I got my weight up like Jason Whitlock. Pivot like Brian Clark, skipping Bailey, Shannon Sharp. Don't have to scream like Stephen A to get my point across. Climb Jamel Hills, won carry championships. They were quick to pull the gun, hoping Rob would quit. But 15 years later, Rob still the shit. Rob still legit. Rob still on everyone's pound for pound list. Rob is courtside, Rob is ringside. Catch Rob outside at the 50-yard line. Don't act surprised, Rob is a winner. George Steinbrenner cooking up these headlines. What you want for dinner? The Black Sports Center, you know who I be. Triple OG, the Ohio State University. That's who reps me. I'm love for a friend. I just murdered this track, call that a dead spin. The headline king is back.
Let me tell you guys a story, a history lesson if you were born in the 2000s or the late 1990s. When I was a teenager back in St. Louis, Missouri, there was only a couple of teams that you really rooted for as a black kid in the hood. You know, one of those teams, especially when we're talking about college sports, one of those teams were, of course, the Miami Hurricanes of the late 80s, early 90s, late 90s, and early 2000s. The U. If you were a black teen back in those days, Miami, by default, regardless if you had, you didn't have to go to the school or had any alumni or anything, you were by default, you were for Miami, the U, back in those days. When it came to college basketball, one of the teams that if you were a black youth back then, UNLV, the running Rebels with Larry Johnson, Stacey Augmon, those boys back in the day. It's the reason that I still hate Duke to this day, because of my affection for the UNLV running Rebels. And of course, the reason that you had these feelings toward these teams back in the 90s, early 2000s, late 80s, was because as a young black person in the hood, these teams were a reflection of you. It was like watching you out there playing, especially when they're playing against teams like Duke and playing against teams like Notre Dame. Remember, they called it convicts versus Catholics. It was a very divisive time. You think 2023 is a very divisive time? If you were around in 1994, it wasn't that much better, if any. But I would say the one team that universally was loved by the black community, especially the young people in the black community, including myself, was Michigan's Fab Five. We talking about Chris Webber, Jalen Rose, Jawan Howard, Jimmy King, Ray Jackson, the Fab Five. Even their names sounded like just some brothers that you knew around the block. Ray Jackson, Jalen Rose, Chris Webber, Jawan Howard, Jimmy King. Everybody in the hood loved the Fab Five. They had the long shorts. They had the swag. They were five freshmen coming in to the college basketball, just taking it over. I was enamored in my youth with the Fab Five. Big Chris Webber fan at the time. And remember, I'm in St. Louis, Missouri at this time. And once again, another reason why I will hate Duke, Coach K, Christian Laettner, even Grant Hill, because he got the Mia too. Hate him too. Love Grant Hill. Hate him too. For what they did to the Fab Five. So in this climate of loving the UNLV, the Fab Five, this is the era of Biggie and Pac and Jay-Z and Nas, real Wu-Tang Clan, real hip hop. Even in my hometown, St. Louis, you had Nelly and Chingy, St. Lunatics. Coming out in Atlanta, you had Ludacris. You the West Coast, you had Too Short, E4. I mean, this was a golden age, and I'm not even talking about Dre and Snoop, Snoop Death Row. This was a golden age for a young Black male. So you might wonder, how did I end up at the Ohio State University? That's a very good question. It's a question that I get asked often. How did a kid from St. Louis, Missouri end up in Columbus, Ohio? Well, the answer is pretty simple. After being in St. Louis for pretty much my entire childhood, I wanted to explore. I wanted to get out of the city. I'd never really been anywhere before. So I wanted to go somewhere different. I wanted to experience something different. And honestly, Miami was actually a place that I thought about going to. But in the end, the reason that I ended up at the Ohio State University was, at the time, my father. And by the way, I'm a junior. A lot of people don't know that. My father, Robert, actually lived in Columbus, Ohio. And he had lived there for several years, for a long time. He had been living there for a pretty long time, maybe 10 years at that time. So I thought, in my 18-year-old wisdom, that it'd be a good idea to go to the Ohio State University for a couple of reasons. One reason was I always wanted to go to a big university and a big campus. I always felt like if you would go to one of these big schools, you'll make the type of proper connections that could help you later on in life. And Ohio State, I believe, is the second or third biggest university in the U.S. Secondly, I got in-state tuition because my father lived there. Thirdly, it gave me an opportunity to see my dad on a pretty regular basis. And I really never got to see my pops on a regular basis when I was in St. Louis. He would come in for holidays and birthdays and things like that. So I maybe seen him, 2, 3, 4 times a year. If I went to Ohio State, he would literally be 10, 15-minute drive for campus, and I can actually spend some quality time with my pops. And for those that have a father, or those that haven't had a father in their life, you can kind of understand why that would be important for someone who was turning, 18 in their teenage years. With that being said, I was familiar with the Ohio State-Michigan rivalry because I was a sports fan. So, of course, I always watched Ohio State and I always watched Michigan. I had no particular affiliation toward any school. One could even say that I was even maybe a little bit more towards Michigan because they had the brothers. They had Desmond, Howard doing the Heisman. But I didn't have anything against Ohio State because they had some brothers, that came out as well, like Chris Carter, Archie Griffin, things like that. So I really had no affiliation or really a good feel for the rivalry besides the fact that it was a rivalry. So when I got to campus, the first day that I got to campus, and I got there early because I figured because I was coming from out of state, I'd never been really to Ohio before. I'd never been on the campus before. I hadn't been in tours or anything. It's a big campus. I figured it would be better, and they gave an opportunity for out-of-state students to come to campus early. So I got to campus, packed all of my stuff up in my dorm, and decided to go explore. Okay, decided to go explore. Well, back then, especially in the late '90s, jerseys, as far as just wearing your jerseys casually, out in the streets, not just at games, or in this case, doing Zoom videos, was a big thing. So I had a ton of jerseys back then. I had Deion Sanders, Cowboys and 49ers and Falcons jersey. I had Jerry Rice. I had Michael Irvin. I had Jordan, North Carolina jerseys, Jordan Bulls jerseys. I had I had who else did I like? I had Akeem Olajuwon jersey. I had baseball jerseys, Bo Jackson jerseys, I had a ton of jerseys. A full closet full of various college, pro, basketball, football, baseball. One of my favorite jerseys was a Steve Eiserman Detroit Red Wings jersey. I used to rock that all the time because Pac had worn remember the Steve Eiserman jersey and spit on the thing. I used to tie the little bandana on my head and walk around like I was Pac. It was a different time then. One of the jerseys that I had happened to be a Chris Webber throwback Michigan basketball jersey. And on that fateful day, I decided to explore campus in that jersey. Now, thankfully for me, it wasn't a lot of people on campus. Classes hadn't started. But I walked from my dorm, which were in the two towers, and anybody that has been to Ohio State knows where the two towers are. I walked from the two towers all the way to the student union, which is totally on the other side. I walked, past the park, past the gym, all the way to the student union. Went on High Street. Back then, I don't know if they still have it now. Back then, they had a really big record store, and believe it or not, kids used to have to buy like CDs to listen. There was no iPod. You couldn't listen on your phone. There was no Apple Music. There was no Spotify. None of that. You actually had to buy the CDs and put it in the CD in your car or put it in the big boom box, CDs. We were past cassettes at that time, but we had to do CDs, right? So I'm walking all the way through. And as I'm walking, I'm getting glances to the left, to the right. Getting glances, left to the right, left to the right. Not sure why I'm just walking. I don't know. I don't know if it's because I'm black. There's a lot of white people down here. I don't know what's going on. I'm getting glances, left, right. Going to student union, give me something to eat. Glances, left, right. In the record store, trying to get, my new record or whatever I'm trying to get. Glances, left and right. I'm like, what am I getting all these glances for? I don't understand what's going on. Just walking around. What's happening? Did I make a mistake? I'm walking back. It's a true story. I'm walking back to the dorm now. Walking back to the dorm. It's a little later. So the light, it's like, what is this? September, October. What is it? No, September. We're on trimesters. So maybe it's September. So I'm walking back in. I feel somebody follow. A couple of big white guys. And they following me. But I'm like, well, maybe they're just walking back, to their dorm too. Maybe they got here early. But I feel them. It's like 3 or 4 big white guys. And they just following me. I'm just by myself, just out and have no idea where I'm going. There's no navigation back then. You navigated by, sight. I can see where I'm going. That's where I'm going. I'm looking at these guys getting closer. I'm going through the park, closer and closer. And the next thing I know, this brother, I don't even know where he came from. Came from the side of me or somewhere. I don't even know where he came from. He had on he was in a fraternity. I don't know which fraternity it was. I don't know if it was the Q Dogs, the Alphas. I don't know. So don't get on me about that. I'm not trying to disrespect the brothers. I know how sensitive you are about that. So the brother, he's in a fraternity jacket. He got all the patches and stuff. Kind of comes up to me, how you doing, brother, and everything. Kind of shuffles me off, to the side. The white boys, they keep walking. Say, hey, man, what are you doing? I said, what you mean what I'm doing? So you just got, so yeah, I'm a freshman. I just got here. My name's Rob. What's up? I said, man, what are you doing? I said, I don't know. I don't know. What you mean? What am I doing? What am I doing? I said, man, you can't be walking around here in the Michigan jersey. I said, huh? He said, no, you can't. It's Ohio State, man. You can't be walking around here in the Michigan jersey. I said, it's Chris Webber, 5'5", brother. Put the fist up. It's like, look, I get it. I like the 5'5" too. We brothers. I understand, right? But this is Ohio State, man. They'll whoop your ass for walking around in a Michigan jersey. I said, word? I said, hey, man, don't wear that no more. He said, if you got to wear a Chris Webber jersey, get a go. At that time, I think he was with Golden State, or was he with Washington, the Bullets? He was with one of them. I know he was with either Golden State or Washington, or one of them at the time. He said, hey, man, get you a pro jersey. If you like Chris Webber, get you a pro jersey. Don't walk around here with no Michigan stuff. And I had I had the other Michigan stuff too. He said, hey, man, get rid of all of that stuff. Send it back home. He said, send it back home. He said, those white boys probably going to whoop your ass. They take it seriously around here. That's when I found out the first day, found out how serious the rivalry was between Ohio State and Michigan. And I was at Ohio State 4.5 years. I loved Ohio State so much. My dad actually got a new job after my freshman year in Louisville, Kentucky. And I thought about potentially transferring to Louisville, to the University of Louisville, just so because I could. I was a freshman. It was easy to transfer when you're a freshman. But I loved Columbus so much. I liked it there. I liked the people there. I had fun there. It was a good time there. It was my city. And I made a little stake and a little claim in my city. And I got into the ride, went to the football games, I went to the pep rallies and all of this stuff. And I saw, what was going on. My last year, we won the national championship. I was there. Last year, we won the national championship. The legend of Craig Krenzel won the national championship. And, I've been Ohio State through and through. And I can't tell you how much being a Buckeye over the years has helped me. When people see me in my Ohio State gear, no matter where I'm at, no matter what city I am, what stuff I'm covering, it's always OH, IO, it's always go Bucks. It's always a conversation. How can I help you? You're a Buckeye. How can I help you? I'm a Buckeye. I'm talking about from people as young as 21 years old to as old as 89. How can I help you? We Buckeyes. And I have extreme loyalty to my school. And I came in on the tail end of the John Cooper era and the beginning of the sweater vest era. So I've seen both sides. Most of my adulthood, from the 2000s to now, we whooped Michigan's ass. So I was there. I was there at the time that we beat Alabama. We beat Michigan. We beat Wisconsin in the Big Ten championship game. We beat Alabama, backup quarterback. Beat Oregon. I was there. That's my squad. That's my team. Care about my school. So I just, when people ask you sometimes, why do you have such passion for whatever you do? I don't think for a minute. I don't understand why fans don't have passion for a team, a player, whoever it may be, because it's a big deal. And you should be proud of your fandom and your affiliation. So it's just a little story for you. That's just a little story for you. Sometimes I just like to tell stories. That's all. That's to tell stories. So obviously, going back to the topic at hand, people want to fire. They want to fire Ryan Day. They want to get rid of Ryan Day. Okay, he's lost 3 in a row to Michigan. Obviously, that's unacceptable behavior. I would like to think that I'm one of the more rational Ohio State fans and alumni. So, my first initial thought too was I get him out of here. But I took some time and I thought about it. Okay, I thought about the entire situation, and I'm going to tell you why. For now, we have to show a little patience with Ryan Day. So let's start with Jim Harbaugh. Actually, okay, Jim Harbaugh was hired as the Michigan football coach in 2015. Okay, 2015. Okay, so that is what is two. It's 20. That's 8 years ago. Okay, he lost to Ohio State 5 times in a row. Okay, 5 times in a row. Never beat him for the first 5 years of his career at Michigan. 5 years in a row, he lost. So 0-5. Let's just take that. He was 0-5. I know he had a better pedigree than Ryan Day, but we're just looking at the facts here. He's 0-5 before he's won, and really the last two. Okay, he wasn't there for this one. Okay, in bowl games, it's 2-7 in the 9 years that he's been at Michigan. In the college football championship, he's 0-2. Okay, he's 0-2. This is just what's going on. These are facts, not fiction. These are facts, not fiction. So this is Jim Harbaugh's resume right now. Yeah. He lost, 5 times. Let's go over that one more time. Started off 0-5. It's 2-7 in bowl games, 9 bowl games. It's 0-2 in the college football playoffs. So even with these 3 wins, he's 3-5 against Ohio State. It's 0-2 in the college football playoffs and 2-7 in bowls. Now Ryan Day, who did not have the same pedigree as Jim Harbaugh, is 2-3 in bowls, 1-3 in the college football playoffs, and 1-3 against Michigan. So let's just look at this logically. It took Jim Harbaugh 5 years to figure out how to beat Ohio State. 2 of those years, one could say that they had a little help. Those are facts. It's not fiction. That's facts. 2 of those years, he had a little help. This year, one straight up as a favorite at home, as they should have. As a favorite at home, they won by 6 points. Ohio State had their chances. No excuses. Bad interception to start the game. Kyle McCord had us behind the entire game. Questionable TD interception call, but those things can go both ways. No excuses. Had an opportunity and got it down to 3 points with 8 minutes to go. Just had to make a stop, get the ball back, and win the game. Didn't get the ball back to only had a minute to go. Still had an opportunity. Threw an interception. Lose fair and square. So the facts are, Jim Harbaugh is 3-5 against Ohio State. 2 of those wins are tainted. That's fact, not fiction. And 1 of those wins were without him on the sideline. He gets to the college football playoffs. He hasn't won a game. Ohio State lost to Clemson in a game that if J.K. Dobbins catches a pass, they probably win. They can, if the starting safety didn't get kicked out of the game for targeting, they probably win. Ohio State beats Clemson, knocks them out, loses to Alabama in a game that maybe would have been more competitive if Justin Fields wasn't hurt, if the starting running back didn't get a concussion on the first play of the game. So be it. Last year, tooth and nail with Georgia, had a field goal to get to the national championship game. Questionable non-targeting call. Questionable allowing of a timeout on a fake punt. But still had a field goal to go to the national championship game, missed the field goal. Georgia goes on to beat the next team that beat Michigan 62-7. So you think about the losses that Ryan Day has suffered. Yeah, they're losses. And they're bad losses, and they hurt. But we got to have a little patience. We have to have a little patience. Overall, he's 56-7. He's got to one national championship game, a field goal away from another national championship game. He lost 2 games where the other team likely cheated, had an advantage. And he lost the game by 6 points on the road. I think we're overreacting just a bit. And don't get me wrong, I get frustrated with Ryan Day as well. I think that's what we do as fans. But we also have to think about this. Ryan Day never had any type of controversy, ever. He loves his players. He doesn't bring shame to the university. He's married. Not out here cheating on his wife. They help people. Sometimes you have to really think about these type of things. Yes, Urban Meyer never lost to Michigan. But think about all the other things that Urban Meyer has done. Just think about it. Ryan Day's a good dude. He's a good coach. He's good for the university. Yes, he's lost to Michigan 3 times in a row. Twice under questionable circumstances. I understand the fan base is upset. We've been spoiled, okay? When you win 18 out of 20, you get spoiled. But there's no way in the world you can keep up that type of dominance over a team that's actually good. This is not us playing, Indiana every year. Michigan, for the most part, for the entire rivalry, has been one of the top teams in college football. The fact that we were able to win 18 out of 20, 17, whatever it was out of 20, is insane in the first place. The fact that most of us went from 2000 to 2020 with only 1 or 2 times suffering defeat our entire adult lifehood, that's a blessing. Michigan is on a little run. It happens in rivalries. It happens in rivalries. I hope Ryan Day is the coach for Ohio State for a long time. So he can have 20 games against Michigan. And maybe he's 10-10. Maybe he's 12-8. Maybe he's 8-12. But he brings pride to Ohio State. The players respect him. We're not a soft team. Soft teams don't just drive right up the field with 7 runs in a row. We're not soft. You don't be soft winning games the way that we've won games over the years. Ryan Day is a good coach. I got his back. I'm gonna make fun of him and question some of the play calls from time to time. But Ryan Day's a good coach. He's a good dude. He's good for the university. And I understand it's the game. But they cheated twice in it. Let's just be honest. Let's relax. Let's give him a shot. Now, granted, if he loses 6-7 in a row, all right, I got you. I understand. I got you. Right? But if you gave John Cooper 10 years, you give Ryan Day the 10 years. Let's see how it goes. Isn't that right, sweetie? That's my daughter. She when I talk about Ohio State, she always has to come in and check on me, make sure I'm okay. Let me know if you agree or disagree with what I'm saying. Before I get out of here, I want to talk about Josh Giddey, Oklahoma City Thunder. I think it was on Thanksgiving, if I'm not mistaken. Josh, some videos came out from some underage girls or girls who we think are underage saying that they've had relations with Mr. Giddey. It's very difficult to tell from the videos if it's one girl or 2 girls, the same girl. They're all kind of blonde and look, TikTok girls or whatever it may be. But the videos were pretty, damning. And the NBA says they're investigating this. But while they're investigating, Josh Giddey is still playing basketball. And a lot of people are wondering, is there a double standard for Josh Giddey when other players have been suspended for certain things that they've done on the court or off the court that wouldn't go to the level of pedophilia? You take someone like Kyrie Irving that was suspended for posting a link to an Amazon book that you may or may not agree with what was in. Draymond Green is suspended for putting a chokehold on Rudy Gobert. Kevin Porter Jr. Even though he was cut, believe he's going to be suspended. Even though his girlfriend is now saying that he didn't do anything to her. We've seen the NBA take actions on certain things. You take someone like Ja Morant, while obviously some of his actions were not the smartest. None of it seemed to be, illegal, at least from the police standpoint. Flashing a gun, being in a strip club, flashing a gun on Instagram is not the brightest thing in the world, but it's also, not illegal. And he's been suspended for 50, games for his, activities on social media. He was suspended almost immediately, initially for some of the things that he had done on social media. And you have Josh Giddey, who's just kind of just out here just playing. So is there a double standard? I think, and this is just my opinion. I'm not talking for the NBA. I think the difference is, and you can agree or not. I'm not saying that I agree with the difference. I think the difference is with Josh Giddey, as far as the accusations, is the girls in question are not accusing him of anything inappropriate. They're not claiming that he assaulted them or raped them or did anything like that. They're not suing him. To my understanding, there's no criminal investigation going on. And second, the information obviously is from social media, so it has to be vetted. Like, how old are these girls really? How old was Giddey at the time? What's the age of consent? I believe in Oklahoma, it's shockingly low. 16 years old is pretty insane, to be honest with you. So if you're Josh Giddey and you tell the NBA, hey, either A, I thought this girl was 18, or she's 16 and I was 19 at the time, I don't think there's much they could do. While, you definitely would raise an eyebrow to it and wonder, what the hell is going on legally. I don't think there's anything they could do. Now, I hear what you're saying. You're saying, okay, so legally, maybe he didn't do anything, wrong. If it was in Oklahoma, they were 16 years old, which is the age of consent, and they're not accusing him of doing anything to them. But the NBA has punished people for things that have not been illegal. There's nothing illegal about posting a link to Amazon on your social media. I mean, there's literally nothing wrong with that. Nothing illegal about that. While I am not a proponent of flashing guns on any level, there's nothing illegal about that. The appearance of being with and having relationships with underage girls is definitely something, just appearance wise, is not good for the NBA. And it seems like they do suspend players if it does not make them look good, the league. Now, you have to take into consideration, this is a league that promoted and celebrates to this day Karl Malone. Karl Malone, who we know got a 13-year-old girl pregnant and refused to take care of the child for many years, even though he was making millions of dollars. We saw what happened at the All-Star game last year. Now, granted, that was in the 80s, and this is 2023. You would think things would be a little better about this. So there is a double standard. I feel like if you're going to suspend, someone like Kyrie Irving, someone like John Morant, Kevin Porter, for these things off the court, and you remember when old boy said something about China, and they got it, he got fined. If you're gonna do all this fining and suspending, it seems like it would just be smart to just put him on the bench, to suspend him, and then once you find out the information, once you find out what's going on, once you have all of the information and the facts, then that's when you come out and say, hey, we fully investigated this. It's X, Y, and Z. Either we're going to suspend them for this, or we're going to, continue to let him play. That it seems like the smart way to do it. And I don't understand why the NBA hasn't really did this. I don't think you should just be able to get away with a no comment of such serious accusations. So we have to see what happens with Josh Giddey. We don't know if he has maybe the complexion for protection. I don't know if these girls were from Israel or they were Jewish and this happened. He would probably already be suspended for 50 games. Follow me on X at BSO. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel BSO TV, Facebook Black Sports Online, TikTok Robert Littal, BSO, Instagram BSO TV. Hope you had a lovely Thanksgiving with your family and everything. Also, never forget, Thanksgiving itself is a terrible holiday as far as what it represents, but I would never, ever, ever hate on a black man, black woman spending time getting a day off, because we deserve it with their family and everything. So happy you had a wonderful time, and I'll see you again. I'm out.